At different fora, talks border more on security during elections. The National Democratic Institute and USAID in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, sensitize citizens, especially young people, who are sometimes tools in the hands of those described as greedy politicians, to desist from situations that could jeopardize the elections.
There can be no peace, there can be no development without peace. There can be no elections, without peace. This is why the reason why we're here today is so important. How can young people in Kaduna engage in the peer-to-peer discussion, engage in intergenerational dialogue with even the older people here in Kaduna, to help build a national or a statewide consensus, on the need to have peaceful elections and to identify critical steps, that can be taken to ensure that the environment is conducive enough for the Independent National Electoral Commission, to conduct the presidential and National Assembly elections on the 16th of February, but also the governorship and state houses of assembly elections on the 2nd of March.
Independent National Electoral Commission is the body that is responsible for conduct of election in Nigeria. And it derives its mandate from the Act of the National Assembly. The latest one being the Electoral Act of 2010, which is amendments. In this act, the security agencies are not assigned any role to play. The security agencies are discharging their statutory responsibilities as law enforcement agencies to make sure that the law is maintained. There's maintenance of law and order.
The Special Representative of the United Nations for West Africa and the Sahel, Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, notes the importance of Nigeria's forthcoming election to Africa and the world in general, as he urges political parties and other supporters to make use of the valuable existing mechanisms for dialogue and dispute resolution to bridge differences and minimize the potential for violence during and after elections.
Nigeria occupies a strategic position in West Africa and the African continent, and indeed globally. And that's why it's not surprising that you find, you were told, our colleagues, some from Cameroon, some from Guinea, some from all across in this effort, because the elections in Nigeria are not about Nigeria alone. Of course, first and foremost, it's about Nigeria, but all of us, especially West Africans and Africans, we are stakeholders in Nigeria. This is our biggest country on the continent, our strongest economy, and our politically most strategically placed country on our continent. And what goes on here, if it goes well, we all celebrate. If it doesn't go well, we are all affected. And that's why we always want to see Nigeria succeed and prosper. Because when Nigeria is stable and prosperous, it carries along all of us on the African continent.
The electoral body in Kwara State identifies the non-neutrality of umpire and security agencies and the do-or-die attitude of some politicians as responsible for violence during the conduct of elections in the country. This roundtable on peaceful election organized by the Center for Peace and Strategic Studies of the University of Ilorin, tries to fathom ways of dealing with such issues.
Like the security advisor said, 630-something cases at the primary election. So one of the challenges and problems we have is that the political parties themselves cannot even organize election. Violence occur and are caused by three things in election. The first one is INEC. If INEC is not neutral, then you have a problem. Two, the security agencies. If they are also not neutral, you have a problem. And then the third and the most important are the politicians themselves. The politicians are the ones that hire courts. They are the ones that causes problem. They are the ones that will send their children abroad, and then they will use the children of the poor to cause mayhem.
The center is supposed to make itself relevant in projecting the peace mission within the university community, Kwara State, Nigeria, and the global scene. The imperative of peaceful 2019 elections. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and of the people. When analyzing this definition, it will be noticed that the importance of a democratic system is stripped off without people. The element in this definition is what? People. Government of the people, for the people, and of the people. That is, the main deciding factor of a democratic electoral process is the people.
Meanwhile, youth from Calabar South local government area of Cross River State take to the streets in a peaceful march. The purpose is simple. They want a peaceful conduct of the elections across the country. The march is led by Senator Florence Itagiwa as the youth hand out flyers to sensitize the public on the need to stay away from violence.
Today we have a campaign, a very, very major campaign against violence, especially in elections. And the interesting thing is that, all the different groups, of the boys, all the different groups of the youth in the entire South have come together, voluntarily to say that they do no longer want violence associated with elections. And the reason why I call them together is to advise them against allowing themselves to be used, for violence in elections. These are people's children. We should stop using them. We should stop arming them to go and shoot each other. We should stop buying matches for them to go and machete each other. And these children have all come out to volunteer to demonstrate against violence. And they've also promised that they are not going to allow themselves to be used in election violence.
In the lead to the polls, there have been cases of attacks which have led to the loss of lives and serious injuries in a few states during campaign rallies and other political party gatherings. Another peaceful march, which comprises of representatives of various political parties, religious bodies, INEC, security agencies and other concerned persons, stormed the busy streets of Calabar.